Hi everyone, my name is Khadija bint Hassan and I'm a second-year biomedical engineering student at the Schulich School of Engineering. I'm also the Cybermentor intern at the University of Calgary. I'm an international student from Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has had a strong track record of rolling out vaccines, especially for diseases like measles and rubella. But getting COVID-19 vaccines to communities across the countries posed significant challenges like vaccine availability and vaccine inequity. When COVID-19 vaccines first hit the market, wealthy countries bought most of the supplies. This led to countries like Bangladesh not having access to vaccine supplies, and since they could not afford them. As a result of this inequity, low priority groups in some countries were getting vaccinated well before high priority and vulnerable groups elsewhere. And that is why we should put more effort into increasing vaccine confidence and vaccine equity throughout the world.
So my name is Tiffany Dang. I am a third-year PhD student in the Department of Biomedical Engineering. Before this, I actually completed my undergrad here at the UC in the Department of Chemical Engineering, but I specialized in biomedical engineering, which ignited my love for the field. I would say vaccine confidence to me is knowing that a lot of research has gone into the area of vaccines and that we should have confidence knowing that there are so many researchers, biomedical engineers, clinicians, regulatory affair individuals. So many people have been a part of this process to ensure the best outcomes for patients, right? So within research, being a biomedical engineer, we love the scientific process. We have so much trust in it because it's always this continuous cycle of asking questions, gathering data, looking at that data to form the next question. It's very cyclical. And so with vaccine production, vaccine research, it's the exact same process. It's so rigorous in the way it's tested, in the way that we understand it, and we're always asking questions about how to make it safer. And so confidence to me is knowing that there's so many people working on it.
I'm Madison Turk. I'm an MD PhD student at the University of Calgary. I finished my PhD in April in immunology, and then I am now currently a first-year medical student. To me, vaccine confidence means that people understand and understand the value of vaccination and just kind of where we were without it and now where we are and how lucky we are to have vaccination, and just to be confident in knowing that it's safe and effective and one of the best ways of combating particularly viral illnesses, which we currently don't have great therapies for. So the best way to treat viral illnesses is to prevent them, and vaccinations are a really important kind of pillar of healthcare and in reducing disease burden overall, and very cheap, effective, and safe ways of doing it.
Hi, my name is Jahanara. I'm a PhD student at the University of Calgary, and I'm studying cancer immunotherapy. To me, vaccine confidence means trusting that vaccinations work, that they prevent diseases, and that they're developed to help keep us safe. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about vaccines that I wish I could debunk, but I think that the main one is probably related to safety. I think a lot of people, understandably, still are hesitant about how safe vaccines are and whether it's worth it based on how effective they are. And what I'd like to say to those people is the amount of work that goes into developing a vaccine, the time and effort that scientists put into building a vaccine, and also like the rigor that exists in phase 1, 2, 3 clinical trials, everything up to getting approval by the FDA or Health Canada or other health agencies. It is so strict. There are so many checks in place, and everything is done so that people's safety is considered first. And I wish people knew that really the entire development of a vaccine is just to keep people safe.
The first phase of the activity is the memory game. The main aim is to demonstrate how vaccinations work in our body by introducing a harmless component of an infectious agent which triggers an immune response and forms an immunological memory. So the next time the virus or bacteria actually affects you, you can recognize and fight dangerous pathogens in the future thanks to this memory. As for the setup of the activity, place the objects on the tray and keep them covered with a cloth until you're ready to go forward with the activity. The number of objects and the amount of time that you let the children see the objects for will vary depending on the age of the children and the amount of children in the group. For this activity, we will be doing 2 minutes. Please play or pause the video depending on your preference. How good do you think your memory is? Do you want to play a little game and find out? On this table are a number of objects. I'm going to lift this cloth up and you get to look at these objects for a few seconds. And then I'm going to cover this back again and you get to write down your answers on these colorful pieces of paper. Vaccines teach the body to recognize and defend itself against infections from harmful pathogens such as bacteria and viruses. Vaccines provide a sneak preview of a specific pathogen, which kickstarts the body's immune system to prepare itself to prevent infections from occurring. The sneak preview is a harmless element of the pathogen that makes the body produce antibodies and memory cells. When we encounter a pathogen a second time, these memory cells are then able to quickly deal with the infection by producing sufficient quantities of antibodies. Several infectious diseases, including smallpox, measles, mumps, rubella, diphtheria, tetanus, whooping cough, and polio, are no longer a threat in Europe and other parts of the world due to successful application of vaccines. And vaccines give the body a lasting memory. In this part of the video, compare the answers of each participant and have a discussion about why each object is there. So your memory is pretty good. And just like how you remembered all the objects on this table, if you've been vaccinated, your body has also developed a lasting memory. And the next time the pathogen invades your body, it's better able to fight off of the infection. Now let's start with the objects. Do you know why this mini globe is here? It's because vaccines saves lives around the world. But 1 in 5 children still do not get the vaccination that they need. Do you know why this clock is here? It's because 1 in 20 children still die to this day from a vaccine-preventable disease. And why do you think this double helix is here? A DNA double helix is present here because we are all made up of trillions and trillions of cells. Our cells are told what to do by a very special molecule called DNA. DNA is a record of instructions telling the cell what its job is going to be. A good analogy for DNA as a whole is a set of blueprints for the cell, a computer code telling a PC what to do. It is written in a special alphabet that is only 4 letters long. Unlike a book or a computer screen, DNA isn't flat and boring, it is a beautifully curved ladder. We call this shape a double helix. Viruses are small particles that can infect animals and plants and make them very, very sick. Viruses are made up of genetic materials like DNA and are protected by a coating of protein. Viruses hijack the cells of living organisms. They inject their genetic material right into the cells and take over. They then use the cells to make more viruses and take over more cells. There are many viruses that can infect people and make them sick. One of the most common is influenza, which causes people to get the flu. Scientists have developed vaccines that help our bodies to build up immunity to a specific virus. One example of a vaccine is the flu jab. The flu jab helps the body to develop its own defenses against the flu called antibodies. And do you know why the superhero mask is here? It's because when you get vaccinated, you become a superhero in your own right, and we all develop something called herd immunity. This cow's name is John. Do you know why John the cow is here? It's because the word vaccination or vaccine comes from the word for cowpox virus, called vaccinia to be exact. Do you know why these cute little plushies, or this virus structure, is here? It's because they represent the viruses that affect our body, and they continue to mutate and create greater risks and threats to our population. And that's why it's so important to get vaccinated. The second phase of this activity would be plasticine modeling of pathogens and antibodies. For this part of the activity, the teachers can print out and laminate pictures of antibodies from the internet and offer a wide variety of colors for the students to choose from so that it sparks their creativity. For this part of the project, I'm going to use blue Play-Doh, which is such a beautiful color. And with that, I'm going to make a little blue ball. It has bits of green to show how colorful pathogens can be, even though they're not in real life. We're going to take a little bit of pink to show the viral proteins that are attached to the body of a pathogen. These are the proteins that bind onto its host cells and infect us and make us really sick. And with that, you can see that we've made a cute little pathogen. You can make your own pathogen using Play-Doh or plasticine and post them on your social media with your peers with the hashtag Cybermentor vaccine and share the knowledge of vaccine among your friends.